Thinking about Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation 1 brings back intense nostalgia. Back then, I enjoyed it at face value, but now I appreciate the more complex narrative, deeper character development, and larger overall scope when compared to the original. This time we were not in a mansion, but the neighbouring town of Raccoon City, with multiple locations. The virus has spread, and now an entire population was infected. The stakes were higher than ever, and I was invested in this new story. It's an instant classic and difficult to fault, so when a remake was announced, I naturally went into hype overdrive. And I was worried on release. I was wondering, how can it live up to the original? But I had nothing to worry about. Not only did it deliver by being universally praised, it set a new standard not seen since the original Resident Evil remake on GameCube for how older games could be revived for contemporary audiences. Every franchise wishes for a remake of this caliber and success. I really do hope Dino Crisis is next. Modern graphics, updated gameplay mechanics, and a reimagined narrative, all while respecting and maintaining the essence of the original. What more could you ask for? Trophies, of course. Wonderful, collectible trophies. And trophies Resi 2 Remake has 41 to earn the Platinum Raccoon City native. I'm not going to sift through 2/3 of a list just to get to the trophies I had fun with. That doesn't seem like a good idea to me. So like any zombie present in a Resident Evil intro, I'm going for the jugular. Straight to my favourite top 10 trophies in the game. And that's the cool thing, it's a personal list full of my favourites, showcasing the best bits of trophy hunting. So I hope you enjoy my take on earning this awesome and spooky platinum. Starting the list at number 10 is actually the first trophy you earn in Resi 2. This pops as you reach the police station. You've already survived the gas station, witnessed a few horrors, and navigated through the city to reach these gates. But this is where the game really begins. Nothing really kicks that off like the first trophy you earn. There's few trophies where I feel good that I've locked in. That feeling where you've got the first trophy and now you know you're locked in to attempt the platinum. Within the first couple of minutes, you can tell it's a polished, high-quality experience, so locking in feels great. This makes it in for a couple of reasons. Firstly, the pure panic I experienced trying to shoot an advancing zombie and just failing horribly. Secondly, for the trophy name, which I take as an always appreciated Aliens reference.
Eat this!
You can earn this with any sub-weapon, but if you use the grenade or flashbang, which pops it in the zombie's mouth like you're feeding an apple to a pretty chill horse, you can then shoot it for an additional trophy. Now this trophy is iconic, the introduction of Mr. X, the double O tyrant that stalks you through the corridors of the police station. He appears after you've left the RPD and must return to collect electronic parts, so you can unlock the prison cell to then grab a dead guy's parking permit. That's a pretty normal sentence when talking about Resident Evil. Leon's and the player's exclamation were screamed in unison as this unstoppable force just keeps coming for you. No amount of damage can stop him for long, maybe other than shooting off his hat. I like to think this is the whole reason he pursues you in the first place. He wants a replacement maybe, it's probably just a misunderstanding. Either way, this trophy is one of the best. It would make sense if you, the master of unlocking trophies, unlock this one. Less of an iconic trophy and more of an iconic line. So much so that it often appears in other games outside of Resident Evil. Every gamer knows that if you unlock something in a video game, you are the master of unlocking. I swear all the voice lines in the early Resis could easily be trophy names. Don't shoot, I'm human.
Hold your fire! I'm a human!
Richard's infamous ouch.
There are terrible demons. Ouch!
And the obvious god himself, Barry Burton.
And Jill, here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Delivering all of his lines with such casual but definitive assurance. This one has especially become immortalized. The trophy itself is awarded here in the remake for unlocking every safe and lock in the game, all obtainable before the point of no return, which is the tram to the lab at the end of the sewers. The young escapee trophy gets in for one reason only: the god tier sound design. I can just imagine the sound engineers working on this, the smiles on their faces, going home happy after a good day's work. How many scissors did they have to glide along cardboard and tape to achieve this perfection, this masterpiece? The segment itself feels very tense, as you're trying to escape the orphanage quietly without Police Chief Irons realizing you've even left your room. I really like the mini speedrun aspect of this puzzle too. And it is a cool puzzle, even if Sherry could have kicked that cardboard in. I suppose she had to be sneaky, and she does a really great job. The endgame boss for Claire's scenario is one of my favourite evolutions of Birkin. Stage 4 has no resemblance of William left. It's a hulking monstrosity with more eyes than it needs, hell-bent on killing you, avoiding the massive sweeping attacks and dives, whilst trying to inflict maximum damage with a minigun no less, all while the train platform descends, is simply put, exhilarating. The 4 minutes left requirement of the trophy gives this fight even more urgency than it already had. The lab will explode at 0 countdown after all, so the stakes are high enough to begin with. It's one of the coolest boss fights in the game and recent memory. I think the trophy elevates it. The Broken Umbrella trophy accumulates the 2 playthroughs for the story to end, and whilst not as involved as the original game's A and B scenarios on the PlayStation 1, it's still great to have different campaigns come together to an awesome, singular, true ending. It's less about the extra boss you fight, which is very cool, and I love seeing Stage 5 Birkin, but it is very telegraphed. You don't need to do much to win. It's just a massive set piece to end it on. The trophy name without context sounds like a broken inanimate object, but within the Resident Evil world is the beginning of the end for the sinister pharmaceutical company that started it all, Umbrella. Well, until the stock market crashes and deletes them, or whatever happened in the Resident Evil 4 intro at least. So this trophy can go side by side with Leon's hardcore trophy, which is the hardest difficulty in the game. The only mode where ink ribbons are mandatory to save, making it true to the original games. Ammo and healing are scarce, enemies are more aggressive and faster. It's a crazy tough playthrough. I think it's made even harder by Claire's available weapons. Leon's Matilda, Magnum, shotgun, and flamethrower give him an easier time in Raccoon City. And I do like difficult things, so I enjoy this trophy. You can make this easier by gaining the Infinity Knife, which you receive by exterminating all of the raccoon statues in all scenarios, and then the Infinity Samurai Edge handgun, gained for completing the game on Standard or Hardcore with an S rank, no small task within itself. But be warned, even with these very helpful extras, Hardcore is a tough, tense run. But at least you can take your time and are able to save often, even if the ink ribbons are quite limited throughout. I highly recommend it. It's one of the trophies that most exemplifies Resident Evil. If the previous hardcore trophy means taking your time and being careful, then a small carbon footprint is the quick and reckless equivalent. You have to follow the set path and just go for it with little to no distractions or deviations from the main objectives. This can be a bit of a problem with the tyrant pursuer hunting you down and forcing you to move, or the limited inventory space as you juggle healing, key items and weapons. You really need to know where you're going 2 steps before you go there. It's wise to leave this one until near last. I tackled this on the assisted difficulty with the infinity ammo handgun, and I still nearly failed, and I mean that. I was within a few steps of going over. I would have had to restart the whole game. It's quite difficult to gauge how well you're doing, even though the game tracks your steps, which you can view in the pause menu. It was a fun but stressful playthrough, so the trophy popping really stuck with me as I remember the relief of unlocking something difficult. And it all leads to this. My favourite trophy in Resident Evil 2 Remake is Grim Reaper, which is awarded for completing Hunk's minigame, The Fourth Survivor. You start in the sewers requesting extraction after narrowly escaping Birkin, completely decked out. You have an exclusive machine gun, a pistol, magnum, shotgun, loads of healing and ammo. All you need to do is get to point A to point B, ending at the police department gates, which is where this platinum began with my first trophy unlock, Welcome to the City of the Dead. This run requires practice, knowledge and execution. There will be a lot of trial and error as you tackle each new segment with different enemies. You'll have to use certain items in certain places to succeed. A grenade here, a flashbang there, magnum kill these guys. Of course it rarely goes to plan and normally ends in death. But pulling it off, reaching that extraction point, ending up with no ammo, grenades or healing items left to use, it's a hell of a feeling. I earned this trophy and I love that it's my platinum giver. It's the definitive trophy of the Resident Evil 2 experience because it forces you to take everything you've learned over the course of the game and apply it into a chaotic and condensed 10 minutes, sprinting through, and that's why it's my number 1. And here's the platinum, Raccoon City Native, my 12th Resident Evil platinum. I'm sure it won't be my last. How about a bonus trophy starring none other than Jill Valentine? Capcom added a letter in the Kendo gunshot left by Jill, informing Robert Kendo of her plans. I love stuff that links games together, and this is a pretty cool Easter egg. I do think they could have added trophies for killing the alligator and developing Rebecca Chambers' photo in the darkroom. Both iconic moments from the original, but at least they made it into the remake. I have a second playthrough of Resident Evil 7 to start for the PS5 trophies. I also need to platinum Resident Evil 4 Remake and Resi 8 Village. That would round off and complete my main line platinums for the Resi series, so expect similar videos in the future. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's rain and blood-soaked video. Please subscribe if you want to see more. It means a lot to me every time that number goes up. But take it easy anyway, and I will catch you guys on the next one. See ya.
Hey, it's up to us to take out Umbrella.